5 News This Morning starts now.
The manhunt for a suspect in the killings of a couple at Devil's Den enters day 5. We'll have a look at a new photo being shared by police and a live report as law enforcement weigh in on the case.
It is going to be once again very hot and humid today and even into tomorrow, but look at that. Relief is on the way very soon. It sticks around for a little while. Yeah, it gets warmer next week, but hey, it's going to be nice here for this weekend. Talk about that further along with some rain chances coming up.
Won't feel that we are in a position to start seeing and saying that we're kind of in the clear.
And an 8.8 earthquake, one of the strongest in decades, triggers tsunami alerts across the West Coast. Coming up, the latest on evacuations that are now underway.
A live look outside in Ozark. A beautiful sunrise here on this Wednesday, July 30th. Good morning, rise and shine. If you're waking up today, you got a lot to do. Keep in mind that it's going to be hot.
Yeah, basically take yesterday's heat. That's pretty much today. Not much of a change, maybe even a degree or two hotter. So yeah, it's just like the cherry on top. But I will guarantee you over the next 7 days, today will be by far the hottest, especially after tomorrow. It'll be much better around here. Currently, we're seeing some sunshine, a few thin clouds. We are starting to see that clearing of the cloud cover. A few isolated showers there in our far southern counties, Logan and Scott, have now dissipated for us. And so now for the rest of the morning, we're at plenty of sunshine and quickly warming up into the upper 80s and low 90s later today. Mids possibly upper 90s. You notice a storm chance later this afternoon. It'll be very hit or miss, especially it'll be for areas along and east I-49, but still could see some pop-up storms. For the River Valley, hitting 90 for the temperature at 10 a.m., close to 100, if not hitting 100 later this afternoon with that spotty storm chance. But the feels like, of course, the big factor up to maybe 105, 106, highs 107 in northwest Arkansas, getting close to 100 by 11 a.m. For the River Valley, I think we'll hit 100 by 10, and we'll see anywhere from 110 to maybe as high as 114 for us later this afternoon. But the good news is, as I mentioned, relief is on the way, especially starting Friday. But for this weekend, highs in the mid 80s and low temperatures in the upper 60s and lower 60s for northwest Arkansas. So we'll talk more about the relief and how we'll get there with the cold front coming up in your full forecast. For now, let's take a live look at traffic on this Wednesday morning. A live look along I-49 at the 71B interchange there in Fayetteville. Good morning to you there. Traffic moving smoothly so far on this Wednesday morning, and stay safe out there in the heat. Just have a couple more days to get there, and in 48 hours, we're going to get some relief as well as maybe some rain chance. Talk about that further in just a little bit. Joe and Tiffany.
All right, thank you, Danny. Well, the manhunt for the person responsible for killing a couple at Devil's Den State Park now entering its 5th day. And this morning, we have some new developments, including a newly released photo of what police are calling a person of interest. Take a look. If you know who this person is, call police. Let them know. Investigators say the suspect is believed to be a white man, a medium build, last seen wearing some dark clothing and a dark ball cap. Investigators also say the suspect is a white man. They could have left the state park on Saturday, Highway 170 or Highway 220 near the park. He was also seen driving toward a park exit in a dark sedan with a license plate covered by electrical or duct tape. Police have identified the couple who was killed as 43-year-old Clinton Brink and 41-year-old Kristen Brink. Investigators say their 2 young daughters were there at the time of the attack, but thankfully escaped without injury. Now, as the search continues, the West Fork police chief says his team is staying vigilant, keeping a close eye on any new leads.
5 News reporter Jacob Luthi is joining us live with what he's seeing on the ground and how local police departments are staying involved. Good morning, Jacob.
Good morning, Tiffany. Good morning, Joe. Yeah, West Fork Police Chief Justin Goggin says that while his office is not directly involved in the investigation looking into the attack of Kristen and Clinton Brink at Devil's Den over the weekend, they're doing what they can control, and that is by patrolling the area, the things that they always do, but also looking at those photos that ASP has released, both the composite drawing as well as the photo that they released yesterday, and in their patrols, making sure that they're keeping an eye out for both the vehicle that's been described by ASP, but also of the individual. And Chief Goggins says that he can't recall an attack like this ever happening near West Fork. You know, he's hiked these trails at Devil's Den with his family and says the incident really does hit close to home. He says his department is receiving tips from park goers and neighbors, but wants to remind everyone to report those directly to the Arkansas State Police. He's asking that the public stay alert, saying if you see something, say something. Even the smallest detail, he says, could help move this case forward. He also urges patience as investigators continue to sort through evidence and follow up on leads.
Can't imagine the amount of information they're having to go through and sort through. especially early on in an investigation when it's very, very general information that's casting a really broad net. So you have to check it all, and that can really grind investigators down and really tie up resources and slow things down. So I'm just trying to be patient with investigators. They're going as quick as they can, I'm sure.
Again, the Arkansas State Police is asking anyone who visited the park on Saturday, July 26, to share with them any information if they believe it has anything to do with the person of interest. Again, that's photos, videos, GoPro camera footage, residents and their security footage or their game footage, whatever it may be, to help. They're also saying do not post it online. Instead, send it directly to the Arkansas State Police. Tiffany, Joe.
All right, thank you, Jacob. But we'll continue following updates from State Police. We'll bring you those latest developments as they come into our newsroom on 5 News Plus.
Yeah, to learn how to download it to your smart TV, just text the word plus to 479-785-5000.
A new prosecutor is now handling the deadly shooting case out of Lavaca after the county prosecutor, attorney Daniel Shue, stepped away due to a conflict of interest.
Now the focus is on what happens next in the case. Brad Jones of Charleston was shot and killed on July 10th. Shue recused himself from the case, saying the suspect's father is a former Sebastian County deputy and his brother a former Lavaca police officer.
He also noted that Jones had been working for a deputy prosecutor at the time. Now 14th Judicial District Prosecutor David Etheridge is taking over. He says he plans to review the case file later this week and is stressing the importance of getting it right.
Treat this case just like it's any other case would be in my district. Which means I'm going to evaluate the evidence and the facts and make a determination on whether or not I believe that there is a crime that's been committed. And not just that, do I believe it's a crime that's been committed that I believe ethically that I'm able to prosecute and get a conviction of.
Etheridge says he'll also visit the crime scene and meet with law enforcement in person before making any decisions. He's asking the public for patience as the investigation continues.
If you're on a coastal road and you've been in gridlock, if that happens anywhere, and we don't think that's happening, you have to be at least 100 feet above sea level or 2 miles inland, just in case. But at this point, we're not seeing that problem.
Well, developing this morning, people in Hawaii are being told to move to higher ground after a massive 8.8 magnitude earthquake struck off of Russia's coast overnight. Experts say this is one of the strongest earthquakes ever recorded and the most powerful since 2011. The massive quake triggered a tsunami in the northern Pacific, prompting warnings in Alaska and several other coastal regions around the world. CBS's Jared Hill has the latest.
On the island of Honolulu, a scramble to seek higher ground. Waves crashed on empty beaches as warnings echoed.
The roads are full, people trying to move. We ask you to stay calm, cooperate, and get to high ground.
We decided to go to elevated ground, and it's kind of just where it's taken us so far. We've passed a couple other gas stations that you can't even get in them.
Tsunami warnings and alerts were issued from Hawaii to the entire west coast of the U.S. after an 8.8 magnitude earthquake hit off Russia. Officials warned waves could reach up to 10 feet, prompting boats to head out to sea.
So far, we have not seen a wave of consequence, which is great relief to us.
Hours earlier, a tsunami more than a foot high was detected in over a dozen parts of Japan. Officials warned bigger waves are possible. Some people sought safety on the tops of buildings. The massive earthquake that triggered the waves shook furniture in far eastern Russia. Emergency responders rushed to a damaged kindergarten after the front of the building collapsed. No children were reportedly inside. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Well, so far, there are no reports of injuries from the earthquake, though strong aftershocks have been recorded.
And new details this morning reveal the shooter in Monday's deadly New York City attack blamed football-related brain injuries and deliberately targeted NFL headquarters. Police identified the shooter as 27-year-old Shane Tamara, who drove from Las Vegas to New York. He had a history of mental illness and obtained a concealed firearms permit in 2022. CBS News obtained his suicide note blaming football for CTE and accusing the NFL of hiding the risks. Authorities say he killed 4 people and then himself. Tuesday night, a vigil was held in honor of the victims.
This is the time to stand up and say no more slaughter by a weapon of mass destruction.
The New York City Medical Examiner's Office says they plan to analyze the shooter's brain as part of their autopsy, which we're told is standard procedure.